this year we have improved because last year we have this. It's like if you are going to Bashe, today you are at Westfield, next week you went to Abuko, people ask you, you are not traveling, you say, no, but yesterday I was Westfield, today I'm back, I'm moving. But are you reaching your destination? That's the problem. I think education has a target. They have a target with regards to passes in subjects, the overall passes in terms of enrollment. So just to say there's an increase by 400 students, you're saying that's an achievement. I say no. What's your target? Are you moving towards your target? So I think the measuring system is policeable. It's not correct. We measure based on yardsticks, where we are heading to, where we want to go. Are we going? Are we moving towards that? Let's not say you because we are better than yesterday. If yesterday was worse, today you are just fair. You are not even. It's just fair. So that's not a good point of this thing. So the schools are being constructed everywhere. That's fine. Excellent move. I'm not sure whether this construction of schools are being accompanied with libraries, with science labs, with labs and libraries. These are basic, most important elements in schools that are lacking in public schools. No lab facility, no library. We have to adopt the culture of reading in schools, and students will be able to access material. And then the ministries should start to have budgets for libraries in their school, in their schools. Look at the only national library we have. Go there now. Today, go there. It's just across here. Look at it. What is higher education doing with regards to those ones? With regards to the library in Brikama, in fact, in schools. What about science labs? So it's important that we look at all those things when we are planning for the development of education. And also these applied sciences, if we have turned DTI to a university, I think we should also provide in high schools a breeding ground to feed that university. And then you go to certain schools now, the technical departments are weak. Students are not even seen as something that they should go in for. And then government, is our responsibility to ensure that we make those, we entice students to go in for these other areas. I don't want to belabor too much on those things. Youth and sports, like I've said, we have to give prominence to this ministry, and they have to take the lead in ensuring that they bring programs that are designed to alleviate the youth, to give jobs to youth. Yes, there are other programs that are needy and other things, but if we want to say our budget, most of the crucial sectors, we have to depend on the donor fund. When they are not forthcoming, what do we do? What do we do when they are not forthcoming? So, and even those needy projects and this techie fee, I want to think you go and check how those projects are being given, so that we know that they are given to the right individuals who can do justice to those projects. Because it is funny sometimes you see the project people building, story buildings, having plastic vehicles, and they tell you figures that practically you don't see. We've given just 2,000 people. Why 2,000 people? You never see the impact. So I think people mention here these oversight things should be strengthened. Now, Office of the Vice President, I want to just talk about national disaster management. People talk about it, and they talk about having a budget line for it. That is important. But then for me, I want to have long-term solution, because we cannot have a budget line for just disaster. That means we are expecting disaster every day. Yes, they do happen. But there are issues that, it becomes recurrent. It happens every year. Disaster sports that are there every year, when it's rain, it's going to be disaster. What do we do now? We cannot have keep funds every year, so that when they are flooded, we go and give them 7,000. That's not the thing for me. The thing is, what is the cause of that disaster around that end? If it is people blocking the waterway, they must be demolished. If it is roads, because sometimes these new roads that we construct, sometimes bring havoc in terms of no, allow me to. This road, let me finish this one. These roads that we construct, sometimes it's like the engineers do not survey the landscape of our environment. The problem is we are still in that problem at Town level. Anytime it rains, traffic is obstructed, people go. Some of the floods in some part of the area are due to the new roads that are constructed. Are proper feasibility studies being done to look at the landscape and look at how to avoid future problems of flooding. So I think these things have to be looked into so that we know the root cause of disasters in some places and to finance something to mitigate, to eradicate floods in those areas. And then there is this issue with the Department of Physical Planning. And these things, when I come to local government, I will highlight those ones. Honorable Speaker, Minister of Trade, Industries, and Regional Integration. In the President's speech, let me quote page 43, paragraph 4. To promote stability, the ministry is working with importers to increase importation and supply of essential commodities and stabilize commodity prices. And then I will link that with the next one on it. So it's like during the pandemic, we've all seen the impact of the cost of commodities. And then yes, this is laudable to ask importers to increase what they are importing. But there must be drastic measures taken at the level of that ministry. You have few people monopolizing this sector. And it creates what they call barriers of entry for common Gambians to enter that one. And this is something you may not see. It's not in the laws, it's nowhere, but they have the support of the ministry, sometimes the people in the trade. People tell you that I want to import rice, but I try everything, I couldn't penetrate. People tell you I want to bring this, I want to bring this, I want to bring this, I couldn't even penetrate because our institutions are helping people to monopolize this sector. And this is wrong. Government must establish, must make sure the trade is liberal, is free, and there is high competition so the price can come down. Please. You count who are importing sugar and rice here. You count them, there are few. And you don't know that government cannot enter into this. Government must encourage that. Government must encourage Gambians to go into all the businesses that we find. Go to our markets and who are there? In the markets, every day or every 2 weeks, these women traders, we call them Gendenjai, would go to the neighboring country and import not less than 200,000, 300,000 worth of vegetables to come and sell in our markets. What is the Ministry of Agriculture doing to feed that market? What is trade doing to ensure that we assess what our market needs in terms of local produce and make sure we invest that in agriculture to feed our market? This is how we should be thinking. You come to even in the Badibus and Nomis, we have a lot of farmers there who produce, but then to have market around here is a problem. The neighboring country will come with trucks and buy from Nomi, Badibu, and take it outside. Our market will lose. You know why? Because when we are producing onion in abundance, and then these importers are importing, there must be a policy to ensure that at what season do we have how many local producers of onion do we have in this country? How many volumes can they produce? And at a certain point of the year, we should stop importing onion until our local produce is finished. Our neighbors are adopting it. Now, if our local produce are producing onion, we still allow this important to import onion. How do we promote gardening? How? Our actions are not matching. Because these people do not have store. If they keep it long, it will perish. So they give it at giveaway prices. They remain poor. So our actions should match. What we produce locally should be consumed before we have other goods coming to interfere in those things. So the statistics, like labor force survey is done in 2021, the speech fails to inform us about that. What are those statistics? We need to know. We need to know as the representative of the people, you know. Yes, let me just cut it short here, and then finish with local government. The next I can finish it with adjournment demands to give chance to others. Yes. Minister of Local Government and Lands, Honorable Speaker. You know, let me tell you honestly, I think this cabinet is good. So far, I've not seen the composition of the cabinet. For me, because the president has said it, he relies on the expertise of the people he appoints. And these are the ministers and the permanent secretaries. So he is a good listener. He said he relies on ministers. So he has made good selection this time. And I want to acknowledge that. And then this Ministry of Local Government is one ministry that has not been prioritized from First Republic. This is where the Ministry of Lands are. All the problems we face in this country is because we neglect this ministry. All the floods, all the poor land planning, bad town planning, everything is as if Gambia is not planned at all from independence. No road, anything. Imagine there was proper planning of the Gambia from independence, good roads, good road network, and everything through this ministry. So for me, that's how I see it. So we cannot continue to let that go on. Let this ministry take its rightful position in the development of this country, and then let the executive give it the support it deserves. Because this is also where we have the decentralized government system, and this is where the taxpayers are. So we cannot continue to play lip service to this ministry. The ministry should come up with lands, with land policy. We've mentioned this earlier, and we cannot continue to be saying it's in the pipeline, it's in the pipeline. There are a lot of issues here that are in the pipeline in the Ministry of Defense. I don't want to talk about those things, but let's expedite issues. Time is not on our side. So here, this ministry, this government is held for democracy. It's held for maintaining rule of law. Any chapter or section of the Constitution must be respected. We are here as an act of parliament is being violated. And that's what cease, Honorable Speaker. When the act of parliament said 25% of the development budget of council should be given, it should be honored if we respect the rule of law. Now, how they should be answerable to the people, that depends on the mechanism put in place. But you cannot say for how many councils are receiving this. There's no law that says you should ask council how to spend the law. The law says when they bring their budget, 25% you should do it. That is law. If we are not doing that, we are not respecting the law. So we have that's an issue. Go to some regions here. You think you are not in the Gambia? Go to some regions. You think that reminds me. The president's statement said 600 and something for rural electrification. But in terms of water, the water resources do not tell us anything that they are going to do apart from Nugget. Go to Kuntaur region and other regions. 365 villages, only 60 will have potable water. The rest, zero. What is the department going to do to provide potable water to those communities? What is stopping NAVEC to do tender, to drill boreholes? Boreholes is becoming expensive now. We've seen council spend 600,000, 420,000, on boreholes. What is stopping NAVEC to compete in this to make it cheaper for people, for constituencies? So it's very important that we enforce decentralization. Otherwise, we will not go. It's very important we respect what the law says. If we have anything to do with those development, 25%, we come to Parliament and change it. But as it is now, it should be given. And then you are not giving them your prioritized areas. And then if you are not doing it, because those people put what they want to do for their communities in that development budget, the amount of well, we've seen it across the board. We are from top. Some are drilling boreholes, some are doing feeder roads, some are doing bridges. So how come if you want to develop people, look at their budget. Give them the support they need. Some councils are doing greatly. I can tell you that. Basi Area Council, all the councils, they are trying with the minimum resources. How else do you think they can mobilize the resources if central government do not support them? This is imperative. It has to happen. So I plead on Mr. Speaker to ensure that we support, we will support the government. Our role is to support the president and his, but the support is to tell the truth. Because the government, the achievement is all of us, the failures is all of us. So we have to tell each other the truth. And there is something the president said in the opening speech, that you as NAM should champion development initiatives and programs in your constituencies. Some of your activities are happening there, you're not aware. And that is wrong. But then there is something, a practice that has started here, and since the president said it, you should champion it, that practice, you should empower NAMs to do that. That's this constituency development fund. It has been very effective. Some MPs are here, they won back because they implemented it properly. Even if they can increase it to 1 million, even if it can be increased to 1 million, it's worth it. It's a good practice, and then the checks and balances can follow to ensure that you implement it properly. But then it's a good practice. It ensures that the taxpayers receive the benefits. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Talending Kunya. I now invite Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to use this opportunity to thank the President for fulfilling his mandate by coming to the Assembly to address the Assembly and the nation at large on matters on development agendas and policies. I also want to thank the Vice President for taking much of his time since yesterday to listen to parliamentarians. I also want to thank all the cabinet ministers who are here with us since yesterday. I say thank you to my colleagues, honorable members. Actually, Honorable Speaker, most of the discussion I want to dwell in, my colleagues have at least taken almost 99% of it. And then I can see we still have a lot of speakers who want to come. But I also have, I want to use this opportunity to also add some of my own input or appeal to the government and ministers on the report by the President. Honorable Speaker, the President talked about infrastructural development which is very key in our country. During his deliberations, he said his administration has rolled out a massive reconstruction programs of markets and growth centers. That is under infrastructure. Yes, Honorable Speaker, our own capital, that is Jarasoma. Everybody can attest that it is the second capital in Gambia. Yes. Honorable Speaker, still on infrastructure. Development. On the it is in the plans, but not only plans, we want to see that road from Kiang area up to last Jara is where Kabada stops. Honorable Speaker, still on infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, I was on a tour with the Regional Government Select Committee and I visited far places after Basse, where I enjoyed very good roads. Honorable Speaker, I have some friends who live at these villages. Before, if they were traveling there, it took them 2 days before they reach there. But this time when I go there, I can see, development, infrastructure development is moving in this country. We can all see that. People who live in Sudwal, when they were going there, they used to suffer. But I was there these days. I was very happy. And then I want to thank the government. We need development structures like this. We need infrastructural development. When we have them, we can develop our country. Without good roads, we cannot move to anywhere. So I thank the President on that intervention. Honorable Speaker, I will elaborate on the issue of health. or, medical items that are in other health centers, major health centers, that are not in Soma, we are asking and pleading to the ministry to help us have these funds in Jarasoma. I believe it is the only major health center in the whole of LRR. So this thing has to be looked at for the North Bank. To have all these necessary items, equipment that I mentioned that. Honorable Speaker, I also want to thank the President for giving us a brand new ambulance, which is serving.
Point of observation, honorable member.
Which is serving my community.
Honorable member, point of observation.
I'm not giving you. This is something that is that we
Point
that,
of order. Point of order.
May I hear the point of order, honorable member?
Standing order 28A.
Standing order
28A.
28A.
A speech should not be read. Yes, a member shall not read his or her speech, but he or she may read extract from books or papers in support of his or her argument.
All right.
Honorable.
Okay. It's 28-1.
Do you allow me?
Not 28. Honorable member, can you take a seat? 28-1. 28-1. Honorable member, you are reading from a paper? If you are reading, then you must desist.
No, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, just listen.
What of the speakers
Honorable
here?
member, listen. If you are reading, desist from reading. Please. You can quote, you can make reference, but you cannot read from documents as you debate or give your speech. You can continue.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am very sorry to, I don't want to go back to that, but then I believe all the previous speakers here, they wrote something that guided them when they were speaking, and it is the same thing that I have done. To judge what I'm speaking, you are doing that. So leave me to go ahead.
Honorable member.
Honorable member.
Honorable member, point of observation. I'm also from LRR. I want to support your point.
Please, honorable member. Honorable member.
Yes.
If you can have your jottings.
Very good.
No problems. But you cannot be reading a prepared speech to be reading it. So if you are reading, you desist from it. If you are making reference to your judge, you can continue to do that and then you speak. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on education, according to the report, the President with the government have done tremendously good in building good classrooms and then teachers' quarters. Yeah, we all know the President have mentioned how many classrooms we have and then teachers' quarters. This is very, very important because before, teachers were struggling when they are posted at the rural Gambia to get a good house where they can live. But today, you can see teachers are enjoying in their quarters. I can attest to that. Honorable Speaker, still on education, I would appeal also, I will use this opportunity to appeal to the Minister of Education. In the whole of Kabada, we have almost 64 villages, but we have no senior school in Kabada. We want to have a senior school in Kabada. Honorable Speaker, aside from that, I have a message for all of us, all the citizens of Gambia. For me, when people are banging and saying, we love this country, sometimes I say no. Honorable Speaker, I don't know how can you be in a country, you are seeing something good, developments, but you don't want to acknowledge them. A speaker said here, you can see somebody in a position, a leader, you are heading an institution, but you want to sabotage just for failure. It is not correct. We are all living in this country. My honorable colleague yesterday said, there is somebody calling for this country to be on fire. If it is on fire, you think you will be safe? Let's be very genuine. Not only sweet words, we have to be very genuine.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order, honorable member.
Who?
Honorable Speaker, 29.5. No member shall impute improper motives to any other member. I think the honorable member is inclining to that end. I think every honorable member in this house is very genuine.
He's not imputing any
No,
motive,
he
sir.
said we should be genuine.
Honorable.
Means some honorable members in this house are not genuine.
He's not imputing any motive.
Honorable member.
Read your order properly. Read your order properly.
Please, honorable members. How many times do you want me to remind you people? Honorable members. How many times? We are being watched from around the world. Honorable member, I don't think the honorable member is out of order. So many statements were made here on the same footings. In fact, people said here that Gambians are corrupt. General statements. Those are very common. Just go ahead, honorable member.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable member, let me put it to you. No, I just want to say this. We are all equal here. I respect each and every person's opinion. I say we citizens, we
honorable
Gambians.
Member, please continue your debate, please. A ruling has taken place. Please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara West. I now invite Honorable Member for Olyundum. He's not here. The Honorable Member for Banjul Central.
Honorable Speaker, thanks for giving me the floor. I first want to observe the dignitaries here within our midst, honorable ministers. I would say it's a pleasure having you here, and that since in the morning you guys have been here with us, which means that the commitment and the drive is really in there, and this is something that we have to really acknowledge. I would just like to say that I have heard that the Minister of Tourism is currently in UK to console the royal family. So I would just like to say, if possible, he would at least rekindle or ignite reparations for the 400 years of slavery that have taken place in the in our midst. So I think that is of importance as well. Yeah. So I would just like to say that we really appreciate the State of the Nation address from the President of the Republic. It was well put, and that his mandated duty, that is Section 77, Subsection 1 of our Constitution, that that mandates him to at least once stand before this August gathering to deliver his State of the Nation address. However, the address highlights the policies and programs, but also the challenges of the government in terms of project implementation, among others. However, I would also like to acknowledge that there's nothing like a perfect document, right? And that everything to those look good in paper, but sometimes do they relate with the current realities? That's a question we have to answer. So among our core parliamentary functions, scrutiny. And I think in as much as a document is good, our role and responsibility is to make sure at least we extract the cherry from the chaff in making sure we at least help the government to accelerate its mode of efficiency. Sorry. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So one thing I've also learned in Parliament is not to speak last, because if you give these parliamentarians time, they would they would take everything that you have noted down. So in order to save time and to give other space, and I've also seen some among the members also almost dozing off. I was seeing Honorable Sar was almost off. He's actually sleeping. So I'll just make sure I save most of what I have to say for the adjournment debate, but just to highlight a few things that I've put in down. So I'll start with local government lands. I quote from the President's speech that rolling out of the IFMS to local councils to improve fiscal management. This is quite very important, because I would just like to elaborate a bit. My co-parliamentarian did make mention of that we recently had a rollout, a provincial tour, whereby we got to see firsthand the level of implementation in terms of the local councils. And we have to say that most of them are really doing great. However, we've seen that the lack of subsidies from the government is really taking a toll on them, because it's preventing them from implementing most of their projects, which is really hindering their, the efficiency of their work, actually. Also, we've seen that the only revenue generating streams that they have currently are rates and license. Apart from that, some have said that there are current sand mining processes being taken place within the areas. Others have been saying that these local camps, the revenues generated from them are also going to tourism ministry directly. So what their query actually is that there are multiple revenue generating streams that can be tapped from their, from their local councils, but really the autonomy isn't there for them to explore them. So these are areas that I think we need to really look into. I would like to say that in terms of local government still, Banjul as the capital of the Gambia, I think most usually argue that we are a bit privileged in many things, because most of the things or development processes are done within the greater Banjul areas. But I would just like to highlight that when it comes to development, in any country you go, the capital city depicts exactly the feature of the country. So Banjul, in as small as it may be, is really of much importance to this socio-economic development of the Gambia. So we also have our challenges in as much as this road rehabilitation program is taking place and others. We lack housing spaces are not available. If you pay notice that a lot of people are leaving the capital city to go and find, housing in the combos and other areas, which is really taking a toll in the capital. But also, we're also having problems in terms of these stores that have been built all around. Really, the spatial demarcation in terms of Banjul to separate the private areas, that is the residential areas, from the commercial areas. Because in most countries, when you go there, the commercial areas are usually in the outskirts. For example, if you are coming from Combos, coming to the Banjul, along the Mile 2 areas, those are all commercial areas that can be utilized in making sure that at least the inner areas of the city is habitable, and also to at least for government to at least partner with the local councils in creating a housing project that will at least house certain number of people, at least even those that are residents and that are born in the capital can at least relocate from the areas they are in and return back to their homes. Having problems in terms of allocation of these spaces.